fairly.
And here we are with Earl. So tell me, Earl, how did all this get started? Are you an artist?
Well, I was a programmer for IBM 1968.
Oh
And
boy.
at that time, I saw the power of the computer, and I knew I could do something with it in art. I always did mathematical drawings,
So you're a mathematician.
right?
And
So I knew I could do something, but I knew I was going to have to wait a while because the personal computer just wasn't fast enough to do the
yeah,
calculations.
they didn't have home computers at that time. There were no laptops. There was no Apple. There was IBM.
No pairs either.
Yeah, they had computers were the size of a room, and all they could remember is the telephone number, maybe. And they had card index cards, right? They had to do the cards,
Yeah, had
punch
80
cards,
column cards. That's what we used
80
to
column
have.
cards.
Yeah.
So yes,
And we used to program, and I wrote actual programs in Fortran, Formula Translation. That's what it stands for. It's a mathematical drawing program code that's very good for doing technical drawings and technical calculations.
and you started off as a mathematician working in an insurance company,
Right.
working out their
Yeah, the
rates.
actuarial tables for equitable life.
And then how did you eventually find your way to a computer? Because now it wasn't really until about, I guess, mid 70s where the Apple started making a computer that you could buy commercially.
Right, Apple came out with the first computers that could do color
And you could actually buy them to take them home.
and take them home.
Desktop computers.
I didn't buy that. I bought the IBM because I knew eventually they would be going faster and higher resolution than the Apple, but I knew I had to wait. And I had to wait until the home computer could do the full 16.7 million colors. That's how many colors the computer can do.
On the screen.
On the screen, it comes out to 256 shades of red, green, and blue. So the amount of colors is 256 times 256 times 256. That's how you get the 16.7 million colors.
But so this was about what, 1980?
Nah, I hardly remember.
Probably later even, right?
When it first came out, whenever it came out, that's when I got it. It was a machine that did 1024 by 768. That was the resolution of the screen, and it could do full color. And that's when I said, okay, this is for me now. Because now I could simulate oil paintings. I could do shadings that I couldn't do with 16 colors, 64 colors, 128 colors. It really didn't matter how many colors. If they're not exactly off by one or two shades, it doesn't look like an oil painting. And that was my key. I wanted to look as clear and as good as an oil painting.
And you have control of these images?
I have total control of the images. I write the programs to do the images, and then I put what I've written. Those I put in as digital input into Photoshop. Why I use Photoshop? Well, when I got started, there were other drawing programs. There was CorelDRAW, there was a few programs. But the highest resolution you could do was a few thousand pixels by a few thousand pixels. At that time, Photoshop was mostly for photographers, but they were great scanning devices for photographers, and they could scan in at 1200 up to 7200 dpi, and Photoshop was able to handle these files. Not all the filters worked on these very high files, but you were able to print large. And that was what was most important to me, was to print large. The snowboards. When I started at the very beginning, someone was interested in my designs. And the snowboards, these in the corner, in 4 sizes I sold all over Europe, 30,000
Really?
snowboards about 14 years ago by Art Boards, ART Boards. I don't know if they're in business. They had some Giga stuff. I met them through, I think, Lesperani.
Okay.
And they were interested. They couldn't, and they paid me money. I got actual money for this, believe it or not.
Nice. So are you still actively doing these things every day?
I work every day, 20 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 36 hours a day, then I sleep for a day, 2 days. I have no schedule. When I'm onto something, I continually work until I get it done, or I'm close to getting it done, or I know what to do to get it done. I don't stop in midstream until I know exactly what I'm doing.
And how?
I knew, even though no one else didn't feel that way, that digital art will eventually be accepted as fine art. At the beginning, when there was fractals, it was a joke, and people said it was a formula.
Well, I don't know about a joke. I think it would have made nice clothing.
Yeah, but they said the computer did it. It was a formula.
Yeah.
The artist had nothing to do with it.
Right.
It was basically a mathematical design.
Right.
And you're not no artist.
Yeah, and it perpetuated itself.
That is the technique itself, rather than someone producing art using their mind and using whatever they can to make a picture that is art. And all these years are pictures. Not only are they pictures, they're different from each other, like fractals wasn't, because all the fractals look the same. I said, if I want to make my pictures to look like paintings, they can't all look alike. They have to look different from each other.
And actually, you're one of the miracles that I think of, because you were sick for 6 years. You were on your back. You almost died. Your spine.
Oh, I was very, 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 very ill.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it was about 10 years ago to about 4 years ago.
And you were totally out of it. You're 77
When I
now?
said ill, I was in constant pain all over. I had E. coli bacterial infection. It had ate up my spine. It ate up one eye. The disease was in the other eye. I was expected to lose the second eye and also not survive. I was taking the maximum dose of the opioids that they all don't want people to take today. 3/30 of this OxyContin. I took it for over 6-7 years. And then all of a sudden, by some miracle, and I believe it was a miracle, because I had no hope, for 7 years. And all of a sudden I started to get better, and I stopped that OxyContin, this addiction. When I didn't have the pain, I didn't take the pills. And my doctor was surprised when I said I don't need it anymore, then I'm better. But all this time that I was on the OxyContin, I used to go to the computer, sit down, and do my artwork.
Did you?
Continue. It gave me strength, the artwork, to continue on. Otherwise, I would have had nothing to believe in. And I would have never had the strength.
So you're 77 now. You were on your back basically for 6 years. Now stand up and show us how you could gig.
Well, I'm a dancer.
Wow, and you're limber and in shape now and the whole thing. That's unbelievable, Earl.
In the small area.
Yeah, that's a miracle. We're happy you're back. We're happy you're back. Look, thank you very much, Earl. This has been a real pleasure. And welcome to 360 Technologies.
Okay, I'm going around myself.
And we always end on a happy note, so we end on the song Happy Trails.
Have happy for everybody. I wish the best for everybody.
Until we meet again.
I never could sing. I wish I could sing.
Until we meet again.